Hello? Now it's working. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I forgot to press the button on the mic. So we are, or I am live once again, solo this evening. Because again, because of COVID-19, I can't have my team members here, and we try to reduce the spread of COVID-19 by reducing our social interaction. So again, I'm solo again. This is going to be an open discussion. Nothing specifically planned. Let's just talk paranormal stuff. Let's not make it complicated. Anyways, I'll be here for a while with you guys to discuss paranormal stuff. One thing I do want to mention, I think most of you noticed that we did release our first ever episode based on the investigations we did at the Ottawa Jail Hostel. I'm hoping a lot of you guys got a chance to watch it last night. It is still visible on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. You can actually click on the link and actually view the premiere of our first episode, again based on the Ottawa Jail Hostel investigations. Anyways, I'll try to make this one. Yes, Pam, thanks so much for telling me that there was no sound. I forgot to press the volume button on the microphone on my Yeti. Pam, if you can hear me now, please let me know. I can see your message on the right side. So, do you ever get creeped out? Okay, so it's starting. Stace, sorry, Stace, I don't want to mispronounce your name, but I think it's Stace Geisbrecht. Correct me if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. Do you ever get creeped out or feel scared when dealing with the paranormal? Stace, yeah, we do. Although we try to be as level-headed as we can, we do get creeped out. There's certain situations that we end up in, and situations we can't control. And yes, we can get creeped out, but as paranormal investigators, we try to be as level-headed as we can, and not get too disturbed by the stuff that we go through. Not the thing is, 90% of the time when you investigate a location, not much goes on. That is a given. Not much goes on. It's not like the TV shows where they go into a location and every time they go into a location there's something going on. It doesn't happen that way. So I would say that more than 70 to 80% of the stuff or the places we go into, not much happens. And that's part of being a paranormal investigator. It doesn't happen, not a lot of stuff happens most of the time. When it does happen, it can get a little creepy. We've had a couple of experiences. I've had experiences in a couple of locations. Some of my investigators have had personal experiences in locations, yeah. Long story short, yes, we can get creeped out. Thanks for the question, Stace. Kirsten, it is a given that most paranormal teams do not investigate solo, because not just because of paranormal things or supernatural stuff. When you enter a lot of these, let's say an abandoned location, and you're by yourself, something happens, you could fall through a hole, you could get injured. So we never investigate alone for that reason alone. And again, you can run into certain paranormal situations where this could be out of your control. It doesn't happen often, but it's always nice to have somebody there with you as a backup. So we try not to investigate by ourselves. We investigate as a team 99.99% of the time, and we are never alone. So thanks for the question, Kirsten. And yeah, we never investigate alone. So I think the sound is good. I hope you guys can hear me. Again, I'm going solo because my team can't make it because of COVID-19, and we are reducing our social interactions to reduce the spread of COVID-19. Okay, so I have a question here from Tam Ara. What are your thoughts on Zach Baggins and his very popular Ghost Adventures team, real or fake? Okay, Tam, this is something I would prefer not to comment on. I think Ghost Adventures are entertaining. Are they really doing real paranormal research? Possibly, but I don't think so, but I find them very entertaining. But as a team, I don't think I should comment on that. I do find Zach Baggins as an entertaining and very, maybe he has a lot of knowledge. Do I think they do a lot of real paranormal research? No, but that's my opinion. It's not everybody's opinion, but that is my own. And is it real or fake? I can't really say anything on that because I don't have all the facts. I can only base it on what I see on television or YouTube channel or in the media. So I can't really form an opinion on that one. So I'm not gonna kind of be judgmental. It's not the kind of person I am. So I will not be judgmental. Everybody has their own methods on how to investigate. So I will not knock Zach Bagans on that basis. So I hope that answers your question, Tam. Anyways, okay. Hello, Vero from Uruguay. Hi, Vero. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just scrolling down here. Steve says, "Oh, sound is good." Corey, I can hear you. I can hear you, bud. Thanks, Corey. James, what is the creepiest investigation you ever had? James, the creepiest investigation we have ever had, and I think we actually mentioned this before on one of our previous Ghost Talks live feeds, was the Trinity Inn in Gananoque. We had a couple of experiences there which were actually threw us for a loop, threw the team for a loop, especially me, because I was the victim of that experience. So the creepiest place, James, would be the Trinity Inn in Gananoque, Ontario. If you want more details on that, please feel free to private message our page and we can give you some details. But that was the creepiest place, for sure. So I go to Stace. Sorry for another question, but what is one of your most active investigations? Stace, thanks for the question. Stace, the most active investigation, I would say. Well, you know what? Most active. Definitely on a more personal basis, the Trinity Inn in Gananoque was the most active investigation for myself, and I think for the team on a more spiritual and more paranormal level. But if you think about the evidence that we've captured, I think the Ottawa Jail Hostel is probably the location where we've captured the most activity and probably our best evidence. On that note, I want to mention to you guys that we did actually release our first episode yesterday, which is based on all the investigations we did at the Ottawa Jail Hostel from 2016 to 2017. The episode took a while to come out, but I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed. But it is out on YouTube. I will post the link down here somewhere so you guys can actually click it and actually view it if you want to. It's about 30 minutes long. And it's more, I think it's more of a documentary on the things we did there, the experience we did, and the evidence that we captured. So it's more like a documentary, but not like what you would see on TV with Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures. It's not one of these live things. It's more of a documentary on the investigations we did at the Ottawa Jail Hostel. I will be posting a link shortly. But Ottawa Jail Hostel, very active place. To answer your question, on a personal basis, the Trinity Inn in Gananoque was the most active place on a more personal level. And guys, if I'm repeating myself or I'm babbling on, please let me know. Sorry for the question. So Stace, don't apologize for questions. This is the whole point of this live feed. So I do love having you guys questions, and please ask any question you want. Pam Smith, do you think orbs are spirits? Okay, Pam. Okay, this is just my own personal opinion as a paranormal investigator. I think orbs are so controversial in the paranormal field right now because there's so many factors when you take actually, let's say, still photography. There's so many factors that can affect the actual, like the photograph. You got lens flares, you have maybe light refractions, you can have dust particles in the air, and the IR light or the flash off a camera can actually flash off these particles, which creates an orb. So I think, Pam, in the paranormal field, I think orbs are very frowned upon. They're very hard to prove as paranormal. If you actually maybe capture an orb, maybe on video, and it's kind of acting erratically, it's moving around, and it's not, it's not flowing with the like the regular dust particles, maybe it can be something paranormal. But it is something, orbs is something that's unfortunately is frowned upon among serious paranormal investigators, because they're so hard to prove. So, Pam, I hope this answers your question. If you have any other questions, or if you want to question again the concept of orbs, please by all means go ahead. Kirsten, do you think that the way a person acts can heighten or lower paranormal experience? For instance, I have someone. I'm just reading the question there, Kirsten. Instance. Okay. So I think what you're getting to, Kirsten, is that it's called hysteria. Yes, I believe that can happen. When people go into a location where they're already hyped up, they're already scared, and I think imagination can actually play, it can play a role, and I think it can affect our perceptions, and yes, stuff can happen. Um, Unfortunately, I think our minds are probably the worst tools to use in paranormal investigating, because our minds will play tricks on us. So yes, I I totally agree that um, somebody who has a heightened acts can heighten the person acts. Yes, absolutely. I think the way we act in a paranormal. I mean, let's a point of contention. Let's say you put yourself, and this is back to Kirsten's question. Let's say that you put yourself in a cold, damp environment, or a cold, damp place, let's say a haunted location, maybe an abandoned location. It's cold, it's damp, it's dark, you're already creeped out. Your body will react physically, or your physiology is going to change, and you're actually going to hype yourself up, because it's like your protective shell. You're gonna get into that what they call the fleet or flight kind of reaction, where you're into this situation where your senses are deprived because you can't see anything, or and then you feel all these damp, creepy kind of things around you. So your senses are going to heighten, and you're going to hype yourself up. And yes, you could probably that could probably heighten your paranormal experiences. So that's just my own personal opinion. I can't speak for the rest of my team, but I think that's definitely a possibility, Kirsten. I hope again that answers your question. I noticed that Taylor is online, so if you guys want to ask Taylor any questions, she is on our Facebook page right now. Taylor is one of our my lead investigators, and she is online to answer any of your questions via messaging on our page. So we got Lorraine. Do you ever catch anything on camera when you or your team investigated the Willow Inn in Hudson, Quebec, back in November? Okay, Lorraine, to answer your question, we didn't capture anything visual at the Willow Inn. We did capture a lot of audio that we could not explain. A lot of it was actually captured at the Anchorage, which is across the street from the Willow, which is like a branch off of the Willow. You can actually rent the Anchorage, I think, for about $700 a night. The Anchorage is a very active location, as far as we know. We did capture stuff when we had our event back in November 2019. And the Willow does have some activity, but I think the Anchorage across the street has even more. That's just my personal opinion, but I think a lot of my team members will agree with that one. But yeah, the Willow and the Anchorage, there's some stuff going on there. Have you ever okay, so Tam, have you ever been in any other location? Tam, we've never been in Hamilton, Ontario, so no, we have not investigated any locations in Hamilton. Until I can grab some questions. Taylor said yes. Taylor, if you can grab some questions, that would be great. Taylor is online. She's one of my lead investigators with the team. Okay, so now I have a question from Steve Kelsey. Trinity in Gananoque. Really, I'm like 20 minutes north. Interesting. Steve, like I said, we had a lot of or personally, I think I had a personal experience at the Ganana at the Trinity Inn, which really threw myself and the whole team for a loop. And obviously, you're not far away. Give it a shot. Maybe rent a room for the night. I think they're closed during the winter months, but they should be opening soon. Rent a room for the night and see what you can kind of experience. In my personal opinion, the Trinity has some sort of activity going on. There's something going on there because of what we went through a little while back when we investigated. So, by all means, rent a room at the Trinity Inn and find out for yourself. You might be surprised. Pam, you're welcome for the answer. Steve, I hope I answered your question. Okay, now I got a question from Susie Green. Can spirits cause someone to act differently or have strange thoughts, dreams, etc.? Susie, that's kind of it's a weird thing to touch base on. I mean, I'm a bit of a skeptic. Can spirits actually affect us? Is possession possible? I don't know. Quite, I guess it is possible. I'm a skeptic by heart. I do believe that there is something out there that we can't explain, but can spirits actually possess us? Quite possibly. I don't think there's any proof out there that they can't, but I don't think there's any proof out there that they can. So I'm kind of like 50 to 50 50 on it. So, anyways, I hope this answers your question, Susie. Steve, high tech gadgets. Fill me in on new stuff. Okay, Steve, there are no high tech gadgets that work. Or at least there's no high tech gadgets that are proven to work. So, a lot of these gadgets that we use are experimental, in my opinion. I don't think that half of it is really proven to work in the paranormal field. How can you detect something like a ghost when we don't even know what a ghost is? We have no evidence of that. We don't know what a ghost is. What is it made of? What does it consist of? And if you don't have that, how are you going to actually produce a piece of equipment that's actually going to measure or actually capture that kind of stuff? So it's hard. It's hard. There's so many shows out there, and I'm such a skeptic. And it's the gadgets we try. We try the gadgets. We test them. We put them to the test. Can we not capture some kind of paranormal activity with these things? We don't know, but we try to test them as much as we can. I don't have a lot of faith in them. I think I have a lot of faith in audio and video. Something floats off a table, you have it on video, there's something wrong. Something is defying physics. If you have three people in a room, you're conducting an EVP with a digital voice recorder, and there's a fourth voice that you can't identify, that's proof. All the other gadgets they have in the market, I'm a little bit skeptical on. So whether I can prove whether they work or not, I can't say that. But I'm very skeptical on all the gadgets they have in the market right now. Steve, I hope that answers your question. Okay, so now, okay, Taylor, thanks so much for tuning in. Okay, so, Pam, would you believe? Okay, so Taylor is answering a couple of questions here. Then we have another question from Kirsten. What do you do mentally to get prepared to go into an investigation? Do you think it's better to investigate to get the best evidence, or just sleep in a room with the camera set up? Okay, Kirsten, I think all methods are legit. I mean, you have to try different methods when you do paranormal investigations. You have to try everything possible, whatever you can do, whether it's being alone or have a camera or, you try a lot of stuff. How do you mentally get prepared for an investigation? It's hard to say. I mean, you have to keep yourself. You got to make sure when you go into an investigation not to get yourself hyped up. You got to make sure you stay level-headed, and you actually have to go in there expecting not to find anything. And then when something does happen, it's like a surprise. Wow, something happened, or we captured something. You have to go in there thinking you're not going to find anything. So that you need to stay level-headed. So that's what I would say. To get prepared for an investigation, just stay level-headed. Don't expect you're going to find anything, because odds are you probably won't. I'd say 90% of the time, we usually never find anything. Not like the TV shows where every episode they find something. We don't. We have found in some of our investigations some compelling evidence, and we're not going to call it, supernatural or anything like that. Can we call it paranormal? Absolutely, because we can't explain some of the stuff we found. But again, Kirsten, just to answer your question quickly, to mentally prepare yourself, just make sure you go into an investigation not expecting to find anything, and just stay very level-headed. Some people like, if you're a little bit more spiritual, some people like to protect themselves on a more spiritual level, you know, against demons or, you know, maybe negative energies. Some people like to do that. If you want to do that, I do it myself. But that's up to you. But I think on a more scientific level, you need to go in there level-headed, not expecting anything to happen. And when something does, then it's a pleasant surprise. Okay, so Kirsten, Taylor. Okay, so Taylor is the last person to comment right now. Steve, I hear you. Okay, so you know what, guys, I'm gonna stay on for a little while longer here. Taylor's on. I actually have to go to the bathroom. Okay, guys, I am back. Actually, how do you guys like my little skull in the background here? That's kind of a cool thing. Little skull in the background. There we go. So, okay. Again, if the sound, you guys can let me know if the sound is good and if the video feed is adequate. That would be great. I don't see any other questions at this time. Oh, there we go. Tam Ara, what made you want to pursue paranormal investigations on a professional level? Well, Tam, of course, when you do paranormal investigations, we don't get paid. So on a professional level, is it? Well, we try to be professional, of course, but we don't get paid. We don't make any money at this. We do not charge for our investigations. We do this because we're passionate about it. To answer your question, just for myself alone, I can't speak for the rest of my team, but I think I had a lot of weird experiences when I was younger. A lot of stuff that I couldn't explain when I was a kid. And as I grew older, I had other experiences that I couldn't explain. In 2002, which I started investigating probably the paranormal, I'd say late 90s, so about 20 years now. But in 2002, I had experiences in a house that I lived in, that I rented, and I saw apparitions. I had really weird experiences, and I had a candle holder. My living room was set up. I had shelves on each side. The living room was probably about 20 feet wide. And my present-day wife, which I'm still with her today, we had just met back in 2003. 2002, 2003, this stuff happened in a house I rented back around in Nepean, Ontario, or Ottawa. And I knew some stuff was going on in this place. And she was there one day after a Halloween party cleaning up, and a candle holder that I had candle holders on each side of the room on shelves. And while she was cleaning, this candle holder flew off the shelf. Not just fell off the shelf, but flew off the shelf, almost hit her in the head, bounced on the ground, and hit the wall across on the opposite side. And you're talking about over 20 feet. So this is not just a candle holder falling off a shelf. This is a candle holder being actually catapulted off the shelf, hitting the floor and hitting the wall across the room. I had, she used to bring her dog over. The dog would bark at the basement. Just a lot of weird shit went on, including all the paranormal experiences I had in the past. So, long story short, I had contacted my landlord and said, you know what, this is going to sound stupid to you, but have you ever had any kind of weird stuff happen in your home? He had this for the longest time. He raised his kids there. There were a couple from Haiti. So I asked him, I said, have you ever had any kind of weird experiences, especially around the basement? Because it seemed like a lot of the stuff, cats would be screeching at the basement. Something was going on in the basement. Anyways, so I said, did you ever have any kind of weird experiences? So he said, well, yeah, when my kids were young, they would see stuff, and they would experience some kind of weird things. And anyways, conversation went on. Turns out that his kids were babysat by a nanny, and she was a voodoo practitioner. Where was her bedroom? In the basement, of course. And I told him, I said, okay, well, that would explain a lot of stuff. So, anyways, long story short, Tama, I lived in a house in 2000. I had a lot of experiences when I was younger. Got really curious about the paranormal. Had some really serious experiences in early 2000. And in 2010, I established or founded G.H.O.S.T as a paranormal investigation team based on scientific methods. Okay, so anyways, little little moment of silence there. For those tuning in, just late right now, I am doing a solo feed because I can't have my team members here because of COVID-19, and we are not allowed to have any kind of gatherings. So my team is not here. So I'm going solo once again for this month. I did it last month, and I'm doing it again this month. So you know, no pressure on this one. It's just an open discussion. You guys have questions, whatever. We had a bunch of questions earlier. It's just a general conversation. There's no preset kind of things we're going to talk about. It's just an open, let's say, an open mic kind of stuff. You know, do whatever. You know, ask whatever you want. I'll try to answer leftover questions. Okay, Taylor, thanks so much for tuning in. Taylor's one of my lead investigators with the team. She was on the chat here to answer your questions. Unfortunately, she has to leave, but she will be able to answer your questions once the live feed is over. I will log off in about 15 minutes. I'm going to keep this live feed to about an hour max. I do want to stay open for you guys to make sure that you guys know that G.H.O.S.T is still active. We are still planning a lot of stuff once COVID-19 restrictions get lifted. So, you know, show must go on. So the live feed is still going to go on every month until COVID-19 restrictions get lifted. It's still going to go on either way. Bring Karma in.
Karma?
Okay, guys, I'm going to show you my new addition. She is Karma, my 10-month-old sable shepherd. Come on, Karma, come on. Okay, I'm trying to get her on my lap here, but she's not going to listen. Anyways, because I love animals. Okay, Karma, come here. Hold on. I hope this doesn't... Come here, Karma. Come on. Come see Dad. Come on. There we go. There we go. Okay, hold on. Here's Karma. Karma is 10 months old. I love her to bits. She is a sable shepherd. She is hyped up like crazy. She's like a little baby. And this was, I wouldn't say a rescue, but we took her on from somebody who could no longer take care of her, and she is under my table right now, about to knock everything over. So, she is a beautiful dog, and I love her to bits. Darlene, if you're watching, she's the keeper. She's not going anywhere. She's going to stay with us. So, anyways, she's about to knock stuff over, so I will ask my wife to get her back in the kitchen. Anyways, okay, so one thing I do want to mention, Kyle, my investigator, another lead investigator, Kyle from our team, he's actually working on a lot of experimental equipment. Some has to do with audio, some has to do with video. Of course, the Connects thing is in the works for us. We're trying to improve on that kind of system. So this is something that we will be using on one of our future investigations, the DSLR Connects camera system. And we also have this, I don't know how Kyle described this, it's more of an audio thing, kind of like a parabolic kind of microphone, or something that is really sensitive to sound. We're also going to experiment with infrasound as well. And this is all stuff that we're going to be doing in our future investigations, hopefully. Okay, so I'm going to log off. Like I said, I wanted to at least log on again. Our scheduled Ghost Talks live feed is every last Saturday of the month, which today was the last Saturday of April. So I figured I would log on, even though my team's not here, I would log on and let you guys know we're still around. We're still going to be doing stuff once COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. To mention, I we did release our first ever premiere last night at 11:30 p.m., which is a our first ever episode. Hopefully, in a series of episodes we would like to release. This episode was based on the 4 nights we spent at the Ottawa Jail Hostel in Ottawa on 75 Nicholas Street, and the stuff that we found there. We found a lot of what we think is compelling evidence. And I'd like to mention once again, we do not tamper or fake any kind of evidence. It's not the kind of team we are. We don't do that. We wouldn't even do it for a network, even if they offered us a contract to have our own TV show, which we would like to have one day. But we're going to stay real about it. We're not going to fake stuff. We will not bow down to anybody, and we will stay true. Our integrity, our team's integrity is at the forefront of everything. So, anyways, the episode is up for viewing on YouTube. I did post a link in the comments on the right side. Please, guys, watch it. Give us your opinions on what you think of the episode, what you think of the evidence we found. If you want to criticize it, by all means, go ahead, and we will, we'll explain to you how we debunked or tried to debunk most of everything. Unfortunately, we could not. So a lot of this evidence in this episode, we could not debunk in any kind of way. We've done everything we could. It still remains unexplained, whatever we found at the Ottawa Jail Hostel in our investigations. Anyways, next Ghost Talks live feed will be on May 30th. Please join us. Hopefully, I'll be able to have my whole team over on May 30th and not do another solo Ghost Talks live feed. Please click the link in the comments on the right side. Check our YouTube channel, and please watch our episode based on the Ottawa Jail Hostel investigations. So I will be logging off in about 1 minute 30 seconds. I promised myself that this was only going to be a 1 hour Ghost Talks live feed, so I will be logging off in about 1.5 minutes. So any final question, guys, please ask away. If not, I will be logging off shortly, and hopefully I can see you guys on May 30th for the next episode of Ghost Talks live feed. Again, please click the link, watch our episode, and I hope you enjoy it. Please comment. Please give us your opinions on the episode. Please comment on our evidence that we captured. Give us your feedback, and we really appreciate all the emails we get. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate the ones that actually watch our live feeds every month, especially lately because I'm doing solo. So anyways, guys, have a good night. Again, next Ghost Talks live feed will be on May 30th, and please click the link once again to watch the premiere or the first episode that we've released based on the Ottawa Jail Hostel investigations. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next month on May 30th for the next episode of Ghost Talks live feed. Have a good night, guys. Take care.